What do you think your career would look like if you hadn't got thrown off Hell in a Cell?
Man, that really, even though it wasn't the end of my career, it put an exclamation point and it gave me the moment. There are football players who are known literally for one play. Basketball player,
Sure.
Willis Reed, great career. He's known for playing 2 minutes in Game 7 with a injured ligament in his knee. Joe Montana's
the moment Mick Foley fell off the Hell in a Cell definitely solidified his legacy, because that clip has been replayed time and time again. It's in pretty much everything. Anything that has to do with hardcore wrestling, or just like the biggest things, top 10, anything as far as like hardcore, it just it takes the cake. It takes the cake on any list.
Great quarterback, but it's the catch. I think they just called it the catch. And I don't know if I would have had one of those moments. Beating The Rock for the WWE title was a great moment for WWE and for me, but I'm not sure if that would be something that would be passed on to a next generation. And
I mean, I disagree. It definitely would be passed on. I think it has been passed on, as far as the way Michael Cole called it, because it was probably one of the most genuine underdog stories where we saw someone that we never thought would be champion didn't really look like a champion, especially compared to somebody like The Rock. Somebody like Mick Foley winning the championship, and Michael Cole was like, Mick Foley did it. Mick Foley did it. It's a true story of triumph and overcoming obstacles. So that moment is definitely one of the moments that I'll be showing my son one day.
That's what stuns me about the Cell, is that half of the people who talk to me about it, and this is like where I don't write it down, but I would estimate half of the people that talk to me about that match were not born when it took place.
Wow. That's so true. A lot of that, of course, we got the information age. You can pretty much watch anything at any time, but then how would someone who's not born know to go back and watch that stuff? Well, of course, it's their parents, it's their, family members before them who's grown up, who's always watched the product. Me, myself, I've always looked back at history. My older cousin ended up having tapes from back in the day of Hulk Hogan, and I would say more so in my early teens, throughout my teenage years, I watched a lot of the stuff from the 70s and 80s. That's how I come to know the things before me. I was born in 85. So really, I was born when WrestleMania, the first WrestleMania happened, and when Hulkamania was really getting to start to pick up, So that's how you learn. You learn from people who watched it before you, and they kind of want to, pass that down. Maybe they still watching the product in your time, and they just want to teach you a little bit something about some of the things that came before you and how things came to be.
Yeah. And there's even a story I'll mention from time to time, and I did it on the 20 Years of Hell tour, saying it was really powerful when my wife said my kids wanted to watch the Cell match. I said, how do they even know about the Cell match? And she said, well, kids are talking about it in school. I said, in preschool? But it's something that parents have handed down, and it's the go-to for wrestling fans to show their non-fan friends who
absolutely
don't understand what it's about.
It is
I have a few go-to matches for people who just say wrestling's fake, and who talk down on it. One of my personal favorite matches, guys, ECW One Night Stand 2005. It was Mike Awesome versus a Japanese guy, short Japanese guy. I forget his name right now. But that match was so freaking brutal. It's several other examples, but that's one of my favorite matches to go back and look at. And I remember when it happened, I watched it live. Man, just spectacular.
Definitive moment of when you're trying to argue against, don't you know wrestling's fake?
Yeah.
Do you have 15 seconds? Let me show you this.
There's even those classic reaction videos on YouTube where they show it to someone. And I was really impressed by that, because I would go through and I'd be like, voice coach reacts to, Ronnie James Dio, and I love the idea that you can change someone's mind, or at least make them question what they thought.
Well, the wild thing is, like,
well, absolutely. People have their judgments. People, it's not, pro wrestling isn't for everybody. But once you understand what it is, entertainment, and you can watch it like anything else that you happen to be into. We all enjoy some type of movie, TV show. Pro wrestling is a unique form of entertainment that people just don't pick up on. You first see it, and you kind of think it's silly. So once you have an understanding, then you're better off.
They see you get thrown off the cell, and then it's like, oh no, but just keep watching. He's not supposed to continue.
Oh, it gets
tears
worse.
himself away from everybody, climbs back on top.
Yeah.
It gets worse, but
well, I've realized on this tour I'm doing that me not talking about the cell is like George Carlin not alluding to the 7 words you can't say on TV
Sure.
in his subsequent specials. As brilliant as he was, if I was watching, he didn't at least allude to it, I didn't feel completely satisfied.
It wouldn't make any sense. It's one of the most famous matches in WWE history. It's just it just wouldn't be right. It's kind of like with Mick Foley. Whenever I see him, I think about Backlash 2004 with Randy Orton. I think about Royal Rumble 2000 with Triple H. I think about, of course, 98 Hell in a Cell. I think about him rocking sock, and just his retirement match at WrestleMania 2000, his first retirement. Just all those classic moments that Mick was a part of, man.
And so I have like a 5-minute condensed version that I tell towards the end of the shows. And my favorite line, even though I think I did use it in the special, whereas I said, I climbed up that cell one more time, slowly. I'll grant you that was not a speedy journey, but it was done with a peace.
Yeah, I got to see a Mick Foley show live. That'd be pretty cool.
To mind that can only come from knowing that the worst part of my evening was over. And then you get the big laugh from people, like, yeah, that was my bad. It got worse. It got a lot worse. And it was that match just had so many surreal moments, like it just was really strange. Even something simple like, not simple, but when I hit the table about imploded and spun my body so that, the lower half of me was sticking underneath the bicycle rack. We didn't have those cool, those cool barriers at the time. We just had the metal.
Yeah, those metal racks, man. Those metal racks that separated the audience. It wasn't those nice, barricades that they have now. It was those metal, just pure steel that used to separate the fans and the wrestlers, and any type of bump on those, man. You in for a long night.
Rack,
yeah.
But just something like that, where my feet and my half of my body sticking out into the audience, and then the EMTs who were not in on what we're going to do realize their gurney can't get around the structure.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Right after he fell, right after Undertaker threw Mick Foley off the cell, the EMTs had to get to him somehow. But like he said, after he fell, he kind of fell under the audience. If he fell under the gate, let's separate him and the audience. So they trying to get to him. Yeah, you guys got to go back and watch that match for sure. I'm sure a lot of you have seen it, but in that spot in particular, I do remember seeing that.
So somebody, and I don't think Undertaker knew, I don't think they yelled, hey, the cell's going to start raising up into the air. It starts rising towards the heavens with him on top of it,
right.
And it's
so they can get around.
It's just a series. It's like a series of unfortunate incidents for grown-ups or preschoolers,
What do you think?
So I just wanted to do a quick reaction video to some of Chris Van Vliet's awesome interviews. I really haven't seen anybody doing this. Hopefully I can continue to do this and you enjoy them. So make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Links in the description for the original video. And I'll catch you guys next time. Appreciate it.
Dynamic day.